Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel for another Synergy Central video. Today's featured champ is Hulk. Now starting the Synergy team out is Titania, which increases the potency of Furies by 4%. Next in line is She-Hulk, which increased the potency of Fury passives by 20%. Then we have Sorcerer Supreme, which allows stun debuffs to last 25% longer. It's a big one. And Black Widow, which gives them a 25% chance to stun with each special. Alright, let's get ready to smash. So there's a couple different ways I like to use Hulk and some fun interactions which I'll show throughout the video. First, we're going to build our Furies to 15, which will activate Gamma Rage. While in Gamma Rage mode, each Fury Hulk would gain normally is replaced by a physical vulnerability debuff lasting 3 seconds and stacking to a max of 20. Once Gamma Rage is active, we're going to launch a Special 2, and the last hit will inflict a trauma debuff for every Fury on Hulk, which usually lasts for 3 seconds, but when activated during Gamma mode, all trauma and physical vulnerability debuffs are paused. Now comes the stun fun. The last hit of the Special 1 inflicts a stun debuff for 4 seconds, and the duration of this stun is increased by 100% while Gamma Rage is active. So, we'll be able to effectively Stunlock the opponent for the duration of the fight. So the reason I like to activate the Special 2 once Gamma Rage is active is not only because the trauma and physical vulnerability debuffs are paused, but the stack of trauma causes all hits to deal an additional 5% of the damage recently dealt as a burst of physical damage. Some big numbers. Now it's time for some more fun in the stun. Now I just want to note that each time this stun is inflicted, its duration is reduced by 60% until the next Gamma Rage is activated, but we're barely going to notice this reduction. Now, we all know that Realm of Legends Juggernaut can be a bit pesky because he loves to throw his specials as much as he can, activating his unstoppable buff. But with this super stun synergy team, he only gets to activate it twice, which is much more manageable than 20 or 50 times, don't you agree? Now we're going to go into block immediately after the Special 2 in hopes that he doesn't activate another special. And we're going to go in and activate a Special 1, and Juggernaut is going to be incapacitated for the remainder of the fight. Also, keep an eye on the stun timer and make sure you leave yourself enough time to reactivate the stun with another Special 1. So at the beginning of the video, I mentioned that there are a couple ways I like to use Hulk. The first 3 fights, we activate the Special 2 when we reach 15 Furies, and Gamma Rage activates. But sometimes RNG isn't always on our side. So this leads into the second way to use Hulk, which is to launch a Special 3, which inflicts a massive physical vulnerability debuff for 3 seconds, unless Gamma Rage is active, which will pause this debuff for the duration of Gamma Rage. You'll also notice that after the Special 3, Rhino is stunned, thanks to the Black Widow synergy. And now, without further ado, it's Stunlock time. Without activating the Special 2 trauma debuff, we miss out on the burst damage, but Hulk is still smashing some pretty big numbers anyways. This storm fight is a good time to touch on the Hulk relic. Relics have become more popular in the game, and this Hulk relic is a great match to use with Hulk, because the first hit inflicts a physical vulnerability debuff, which will lower physical resistance for 16 seconds. And if your Hulk relic is awakened, when you inflict a stun that's not from the parry mastery, you will inflict an indefinite physical vulnerability passive, lowering physical resistance, which can stack up to 10 times. Just look at the crits and burst damage being done to Storm, between 13 and almost 20,000, all while stun locked. Onto this vision fight, we have an interesting interaction here. Now, as I said in the Rhino fight, RNG isn't always on our side, so sometimes we can't build 15 Furies to activate Gamma Rage and launch a Special 2, so we have another Special 3 opportunity, only this time I activated the Special before Gamma Rage. So instead of inflicting the massive physical vulnerability debuff, Hulk receives 10 Fury buffs, which is enough to activate Gamma Rage during the Special 3 and convert the Furies into physical vulnerability debuffs. Now it's time once again to enter Stunlock mode and keep an eye on the stacking damage from all the physical vulnerability debuffs. It is insane. Here in this Black Panther fight, launching the Special 2 activates the stun debuff from the Black Widow synergy, which also benefits from a longer stun duration due to the Sorcerer's Supreme synergy, allowing us to get into Stunlock mode effortlessly. And from this point, it's all over for Black Panther. Fighting classic Scarlet Witch can be tricky, because most of the time she'll power drain you right as you're ready to launch a special. Lucky for me, this doesn't happen, but I still wanted to launch the Special 2 before it was a possibility. And because I launched the Special 2 before Gamma Rage is active, the timer on the trauma debuff begins. But Gamma Rage activates and pauses this timer, and opens the window to Stunlock City. This Wolverine fight has one of my favorite interactions. I have the Petrify Mastery active, which when stunned, they reduce regeneration and power gain by 20% at rank 2, and also the Despair Mastery, which reduces healing and regeneration effects by 15% for each active debuff. So with the launch of the Special 2 activating 15 trauma debuffs, plus the physical vulnerability debuffs, it completely shuts down Wolverine's regeneration, and even reverses it. This Black Bolt fight sees another Special 3 launch while Gamma Rage is active, giving us that beefy physical vulnerability debuff, and just look at the damage Hulk is doing, especially when we get into Stunlock mode. This poor Black Bolt had no fighting chance at all. Lastly, we have Hulk vs. Hulk, and the Furies that Hulk gains cannot have their ability accuracy modified unless facing another Hulk. But with the super fun Hulk Stunlock mode, it doesn't really matter. Hulk is going to smash anyways. And with a cheeky little relic activation to gain more physical vulnerability debuffs, this tanky Hulk goes down for the count. Alright guys, thanks for joining me for another Synergy Central video. Be sure to subscribe and check back in for more helpful and fun content. As always, take care and have fun.